Do you feel that? That tension in your chest? That voice in your head that whispers, "You were made for more." That's not just ambition. That is your true self, clawing its way out. You were not born to live like the rest. You were not designed to beg for approval. You were built to take the throne, with blood on your hands if necessary. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. You only need power. And if power doesn't come to you, you take it. Stop pretending you're average. You're not. You're just surrounded by people who accepted defeat. People who gave up on growth. People who laugh at ambition because it reminds them of what they could have been. But you're still dangerous. You still have that fire inside you. That voice that says, "I will not be caged." Let me tell you the truth. Nobody cares how you feel. The world doesn't slow down for your emotions. You either adapt or get buried. You think Sukuna waited for someone to offer him power? No, he became it. And that's what you must do. Stop looking for motivation. Start creating discipline. Stop chasing attention. Start demanding respect by becoming someone worthy of it. This is not about being liked. This is about being feared, respected, and unshakably strong. You know what weakness smells like? Excuses, laziness, blame, fear. And every time you let those emotions win, you feed the part of you that keeps you small. Sukuna doesn't ask, "Is this hard?" He dominates because there is no other option. That's the mindset you need. Wake up earlier. Train harder. Stay silent. Build in the dark. Let the results make noise. They told you to be nice, to be soft, to be humble. And what did that get you? Ignored, overlooked, broken. Now you rise, not to impress, but to conquer. You are a weapon. You are precise. You are what people fear when they close their eyes at night. People fear what they can't control, so becomes uncontrollable. Be the one they can't predict. Be the one who doesn't flinch. Be the one who walks in and silence follows. You don't need to shout. Your presence should speak. You don't need to explain. Your actions will prove it. This is not self-help. This is war. And your battlefield is your mind. Every excuse you make is the enemy. Every distraction you allow is a bullet to your progress. Every time you hesitate, you hand over your crown. Kill that version of you that hesitates. Those doubts. That begs. You were never meant to crawl. You were born to rule. And here's the painful truth. Nobody is coming to save you. No mentor. No teacher. No shortcut. There is only pain. And what do you do with it? Sukuna never feared pain. He turned it into fuel. So should you. Do not chase success. Become so dangerous that success has no choice but to chase you. Train until your body breaks. Then train your mind to feel nothing. Then rebuild, stronger, smarter, colder. People will call you arrogant. Good. It means you're finally standing tall. They will say you've changed. Good. It means you've evolved. They will say you're obsessed. Good. It means you've found your purpose. So ask yourself, are you the predator? Or are you still acting like prey? Because life does not reward potential. It rewards action. Ruthless, cold, consistent action. Wake up and earn your place. Build your body until it terrifies. Build your mind until nothing shakes it. Build your life until it feels like a threat. You want to be unstoppable? Then stop trying to be understood. Stop seeking comfort. Stop waiting for the world to notice you. This is the era of war. And you're either a weapon, or you're another casualty. You don't get to complain. You don't get to break down. You rise. You sharpen. You dominate. Every day is a battlefield. Every moment is a test. And if you're still negotiating with weakness, you've already lost. People don't respect potential. They respect results. They respect discipline. They respect silence. They respect control. You can't be feared if you're still addicted to comfort. You can't be respected if you're still triggered by opinions. You want to move like Sukuna? Then master the art of detachment. Let go of people. Let go of praise. Let go of fear. Hold on to one thing, your vision. The world doesn't belong to the kind-hearted. It belongs to those who are cold enough to sacrifice what's easy for what is necessary. You don't need more motivation. You need more silence, more structure, more pain. Not the pain that destroys, the kind that refines. Pain that builds muscle. Pain that builds patience. Pain that builds identity. Without it, you're soft. With it, you're dangerous. They want you to be tamed, to be controllable, predictable, harmless. And if you keep giving in to that idea, you'll be forgotten. You'll be another empty name in the crowd. But if you choose to suffer now, if you choose silence over comfort, discipline over feelings, and obsession over balance, You become immortal. Not in body, but in legacy. They won't clap for your growth. That's not their job. It's yours. So disappear for 6 months. Become unrecognizable. No posts. No explanations. No cries for validation. Just work. Just repetition. Just silence. Let them forget you. Then return with power in your stride and chaos in your eyes. You don't need more time. You need more urgency. More grit. More self-respect. The kind of respect that says, I will suffer before I beg. I will grind before I complain. I will dominate before I explain. Because kings don't explain. They conquer. Let me make this clear. If you're still letting people distract you, you're not ready. If you're still emotional over rejection, you're not ready. If you're still hoping for support, you're not ready. And that's okay for now. But only if you decide to change it. Cut off every weakness. Slaughter every excuse. Bury every old version of yourself that begged for mercy. You don't need mercy. You need fire. And that fire starts with this moment. No one becomes elite by accident. You must decide to suffer with purpose, to train when no one's watching, to study when no one cares, to stay calm while others panic. Because that's the gap. That's the separation. That's what builds a man who is feared, not for what he says, but for what he doesn't. You want Sukuna's power? Then stop acting like a victim. Act like a god. The greatest revenge is transformation. Not words. Not posts. Not arguments. Work in silence until they can't recognize you. Until they regret doubting you. Until your name becomes a threat. That's how demons are born. Not from pain, but from refusing to stay broken by it. You are not weak. You're just undisciplined. You're just scattered. You're just soft because you haven't embraced suffering yet. But once you do, once you accept that growth equals pain, you become untouchable. Start with your body. Train it until it's armor. Until every scar becomes a symbol of your refusal to quit. Lift until your bones scream. Run until your legs shake. Push until your lungs burn. Because your body is your first weapon. Let it speak before your mouth ever does. Now your mind. Strip it of comfort. Strip it of entertainment. Strip it of excuses. Replace it with structure. With focus. With silence. Read while they party. Study while they scroll. Build while they sleep. Because when war comes, and it always does, only the prepared survive. You're not like them. They want likes. You want legacy. They want ease. You want excellence. They want to be seen. You want to be remembered. That's the difference. That's why you'll win. So here is your command. Become ruthless. In your habits. In your discipline. In your standards. Never let a weak voice inside your head make decisions. Silence it. Starve it. Bury it. Let your new voice speak. The one who knows pain. That thrives in silence. That dominates without asking. You are becoming something different now. Not just stronger, but colder, sharper, more focused. You are building something sacred. Not for the world, but for yourself. A mind that cannot be broken. A body that cannot be ignored. A life that cannot be controlled. Let's talk about the mind. You think strength is about muscle? No. Strength begins in the mind. It's what keeps you standing when your body begs to quit. It's what keeps you silent when you're insulted. It's what makes you patient when you want to explode. And most importantly, it's what keeps you focused when the world is begging for your attention. That's where most people lose. They can't focus. They can't sit still. They chase every sound, every pleasure, every feeling. But you must become the opposite. Calm, silent, deadly. Control your mind or be owned by it. That voice in your head, the one that says, I'm tired, that's your enemy. The one that says, you've done enough today, that voice wants you weak. Silence it. When it says rest, push. When it says wait, strike. When it says stop, breathe, then go harder. Because that voice isn't you. It's the broken version of you. And every time you obey it, you breathe life into the version of yourself that's average. You're not here to be average. You're here to be a legend. Control is everything. Do not react. Respond. Do not speak. Observe. Do not rush. Study. Learn. Predict. The man who controls his mind controls outcomes. He doesn't panic. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't chase anything, not love, not money, not fame. Why? Because he becomes the gravity. He becomes the reason the room changes when he walks in. He doesn't demand attention, he commands it. You want to intimidate without saying a word? Then fix your posture. Lift your chin. Slow your breath. Every movement must say, I'm not here to impress you. I am here to become everything I said I would be. Don't fidget. Don't slouch. Don't look away first. Train your eye contact until even silence becomes uncomfortable for them, not for you. That's how you dominate a room without lifting a finger. Now let's talk about silence. Silence is your ally. It reveals who you are. In silence you face the truth. In silence you plan. In silence you train. Sukuna never explains. He never pleads. He never warns. He just moves. He just destroys. He just wins. You must learn to do the same. No more telling people your goals. No more announcing your every move. Disappear into your craft. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them sleep. And while they do, you evolve. Let your silence become a weapon. The more they underestimate you, the more power you gain. Because when the time comes, when you finally show the world what you've been building, it won't be a whisper. It'll be a war cry. Your silence isn't weakness. It's the sound of a storm gathering. Discipline. You think you're tired? Good. Now do it anyway. You think it's unfair? Good. Now rise anyway. You think no one's watching? Good. That's where monsters are made, when no one's watching. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. Discipline is love for your future self. It's revenge against your past self. It's proof to the present world that you are not like them. You don't wait for motivation. You obey the mission. And the mission is simple. Be so powerful that your presence is a threat. Now let's get brutal. You want to be a beast? Then you have to suffer. Every day. On purpose. Get up before sunrise. Push your body to failure. Turn down distractions. Study when you're tired. Train when it's raining. Work when you're alone. Why? Because this world doesn't give power to those who want it. It gives it to those who are willing to bleed for it. And now aura. Aura isn't magic. Aura is behavior multiplied by consistency. How do you walk? How you breathe? How you look at the world? You build an aura when you stop reacting. You build an aura when you kill emotion in the heat of pressure. You build aura when you train like the whole world is watching, even when no one is. You build an aura when you live like a king, even if you have nothing yet. Because one day, you'll have it all. Sukuna lived inside you. What would change? Would you still beg for love? Would you still cry over rejection? Would you still flinch when they talk behind your back? Or would you sit in silence and let power build within you like a volcano? The answer is obvious. This is the transformation. You are becoming someone terrifying, not because you hurt others, but because you are unshakable, because you are unreadable, because you cannot be manipulated, because your silence is louder than their noise. And that is power. That is what makes you unstoppable. Let this be your war cry. You are not here to survive. You are here to dominate. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be respected. You are not here to chase. You are here to lead. Everything soft in you must die now. Every hesitation, every apology, every excuse. Because of the life you want, it lives on the other side of pain. It lives in the darkness, the place where most people quit. But not you. You enter the darkness, and you build your throne inside of it. They tried to tame you. They told you to slow down, to take breaks, to rest, to settle. They wanted you to shrink, to soften, to conform. But you didn't. You sharpened. You detached. You evolved. And now you've become what they fear. You are the version of yourself they swore could never exist. You are proof that pressure creates power. Let's talk about legacy. Not the money. Not the fame. Not the praise. Legacy is when your name becomes a symbol. A symbol of what's possible. A symbol of what discipline looks like. A symbol of unbreakable will. Legacy is not built in public. It's built when you choose war at 5 a.m. When you run while they sleep. When you study while they scroll. When you suffer without complaining. When you build, rebuild, and rebuild again. That's what lives forever. You will not be remembered for how safe you played it. You'll be remembered for how far you pushed it. For how deep you went. For how cold you became. How many times have you burned and walked out of the fire stronger than before? That is legacy. That is power. And that is your mission. Now discipline, your final weapon. Discipline is when you wake up at 4 a.m. and move like it's 10 a.m. When you don't wait to feel ready, you move anyway. When your word becomes law. When comfort becomes your enemy. And consistency becomes your god. Discipline isn't exciting. It isn't fun. It's a silent war, fought every day against weakness. But it is the reason the world bows to the ones who have it. You must become a machine. Not emotionless. Just unstoppable. Not cruel. Just precise. Not distant, just too focused to be distracted. Every day is a test, not of talent, but of will. Not of potential, but of discipline. And every day you pass or fail. There is no middle, no in between, no compromise. You either execute or you disappear. So here's how this ends. No fireworks, no speeches, no validation, just you, alone, training, working, evolving, while they doubt, while they laugh, while they sleep. And one day when they see what you've become, they'll finally understand. You weren't chasing power. You were becoming it. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were meant to rise so high that they question your existence. You were meant to suffer in silence, then return, not with excuses, but with results so brutal they silence the entire room. You were not built to blend in. You were born to dominate. So walk like you already own it. Train like you've already won. Live like there's no plan B. And when it's all said and done, you won't need to speak. Your presence will say everything. You are not human anymore. You are a legend in the making. Now act like it,